Crap. You know what, Mike?
Uh-oh.
I think that we were somehow muted during the beginning of the show, so we actually could just do the whole thing over again, with the music at least.
It's live.
It's live, all right. So little technical difficulties there. Probably people wondering what the heck was going on there in the beginning. I don't know why, but...
hey, it's still better than 2020.
Yeah, tonight has been plagued, actually, with some issues here. We've been struggling with some of the call-in for the show. That just decided not to work, so we're unfortunately not able to offer that particular feature right now. But we do still have some exciting topics for the show. And Mike, take it away. Maybe just kind of give me a couple of minutes here. Not minutes, but just a second
to bring
up our screen. And
it's been a busy week. It's been a hugely busy week. So much has happened.
All right. So add us to the stream here. And...
we're going to start over. We are still live, though, right?
Yeah. So the first thing that came up in our topic list was this kind of odd incident. Excuse me while I open up my beverage here.
It's some bubbly.
Fortunately, we're not like the news where you wouldn't do this, something like this. We're a podcast, and you're actually just catching the audio part of, or the video part of an audio podcast, as I like to say. So
there you go.
If you're watching this on Facebook and YouTube, you're just catching what's normally just a regular podcast. We're just giving you
but you can see us, so, sorry. So what do we got here, Kevin? I mean, I can tell you a lot about this one.
Yeah, so gun store, Junction City. The one
Gun
that's
runners.
Highway 36 and 99 there.
Right at the corner. This used to be the Jerry Brown office way back in the day.
Right, I actually used to work at the Jerry Brown Company a long time ago, so
well, I
watched this building get built.
Yeah, I painted the whole outside of that building in a paint booth. Each individual piece way back.
Wow. Yeah, we got, I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We have connections in Lane County.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Dates us back a little ways.
So what we got here, that's gun. Must have not been that long. They only grabbed 7 guns. The place is full of guns, which it should be. It's an arms store.
So, video camera footage, do they have information? I know that they've got some information. The vehicle has been located, so...
The vehicle was located off Alvador Road near Highway 36, stuck in a field. Oops. Yeah, we're not dealing with, super genius criminals here. It doesn't sound like this may have been some spur of the moment drunken idea or to go steal us some guns.
Right.
It's just, they haven't caught them yet as far as I know. So I did read earlier today from gun runners that one of the firearms had been recovered.
Interesting. I wonder where that would...
But the person or people involved have not been caught, and the rest of the firearms are still out there. So that's where we're at on that one.
And I assume that any information goes to Lane County?
Lane County Sheriff's Office. If you know anything about this, if you are hiding these 2 bumbling idiots, please just call the Sheriff's Department and give them up. Just let it go. I mean, if you want to get involved with it, then you too can be tried with them. But I don't know. Somebody's going to give them up.
All right, I was just checking the comments, and it looks like somebody had tried to tell us that my mic is not picking up my voice.
It stumbled a couple times to start with, yeah.
Yeah, all right, so thank you for that. We're trying to do a little bit better here. I will speak a little bit more directly into the microphone. All right, Mike, we'll head on to some of our other topics here.
You bet. What do we got up next? Hey.
Well, isn't this exciting? I know we have some other things that we're going to be talking about that are a little bit more exciting than this one, but I put this one first on the list because it's a little hard to come back to once you get into some of the deeper subjects. So,
Sure.
Genie outlets. What can I say about Genie outlets? I'm a neighborhood watch coordinator here in Cresswell, and one of the things that I try to tell people about is to make sure that they have some kind of a light on as they go to bed or during the night, if they're going to be on vacation, anything that might require a light to go on and off. And usually you would have like a timer that you would use to do and perform this function. And while those are certainly options, typically these days, the way things are going a little more techy, if you will. So this gadget here that I'm holding up in my hand is a Genie outlet. There's two different kinds. One has a night light built into it, and the other one is just a plain one. So
what do they do, Kevin?
What do they? I'm so glad you asked that question, Mike.
Well, I'm sitting here like, do I need one?
Yeah, right. You do need one of these things.
Oh,
okay.
So, do we sell them? No.
Well, we don't. We could.
We could.
If you look at Lane County Mugshots or lcmugs.com, I did write a review on these handy dandy little things. But let me go ahead and tell you just a couple of the quick things that make this interesting. So, how we got back to this. So once you plug this thing in, you plug your device into it, then you plug this into the wall, and then it becomes basically a Wi-Fi enabled device.
Nice.
So you're saying, well, what does that do for me? Well, because it's enabled to work remotely via an app on your smartphone, you can turn the light on and off anywhere you are. So if you happen to hit the road and realize that you're not going to be home for a while and you forgot to turn on a light, then you can just take this bad boy with your app and turn it on. Better yet, you can even set schedules and make the things come on by themselves.
Huh,
so
that would be interesting.
Right. So now Genie is just one of many brands out there. If you go to Amazon and you look for wireless outlets or Wi-Fi outlet plugs, you can find probably a good dozen different brands that you could get. But I found the Genie ones locally. They used to be available at Bi-Mart. And then they stopped selling them at Bi-Mart. I don't know why, but now I can get them at Harbor Freight. So
that sounds about right. Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still cutting out a little tiny bit there.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. So
we've been plagued with little technical difficulties all day today.
All right. So we'll keep it going. I'll just keep talking as directly as I can into this microphone.
You bet. Mine's picking up great today. Usually it's mine that doesn't work.
The other way around. So the whole point of this little segment, though, in talking about these outlets, is that not only can you then control the outlets by an app, but you can also set schedules for them. So this little graphic here is from the website here, where you can set a schedule and control multiple devices if you need to. And the whole idea is to make it look like somebody's home, essentially when somebody may not be at home. So,
you could set your lights to come on in the kitchen or in the dining room and certain, however you want, different hours.
Right. I tend to go kind of crazy with it. I've got lots of, so they make different versions of this. You can buy switches that you can install as regular light switches in your house, and then basically, boom, now you can control just about any light in your house. So you turn your home into a smart home.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
You could go to bed and forget to turn the living room off and be like, oh, I got this.
Right. But also as a safety feature. So you plug your coffee pot into this thing. And then one thing is that it could come on and make your coffee for you in the morning if you don't already have a timer built into it. But the other thing is that it could literally turn your coffee pot off. So if you happen to have left the house and you're like, oh, crap, I've gone on vacation and I can't remember.
Did I turn off my coffee pot?
Turn off the coffee pot. Now, how many of you have ever done that? I can say I've done that several times.
It creates a really interesting film of goo at the bottom of the coffee pot.
Yeah, you come back and you get this, and that's actually the best coffee. That's the
sure, yeah.
In fact, you make coffee on top of that, right?
I've left it on before, and that stuff was like crunchy. It just turned into powder.
Yeah,
back to its original.
Right. Anyway, these are just some beginnings of some safety tips that I like to put out there as a neighborhood watch person, and also to our community at large, watchers, our listeners, and viewers for Lane County Mugshots. So,
how much are these, Kevin? I mean, what are you going to pay? You're going to buy one of these?
Yeah, one of these is going to run you about anywhere from $10 to $12.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and they make power strips too. So
that's not bad at all.
Yeah. So from me to you, neighborhood watch tip. Isn't that awesome?
There you go. You just learned something. The more you know.
Right. Moving on, we were talking about, well, actually, we weren't talking about, but it kind of came up as you were moderating the admin, or
the group,
the Facebook group. It just seems that, according to your post here, that it's becoming kind of an everyday occurrence, or at least it feels that way.
It kind of does. It does. We need to put those up. But it just seems as though every time I turn around, there's somebody else being accused of just horrendous sexual crimes. Lots of them. And I'd posted the last one that I'd found, and I go, wow, this is becoming an everyday thing around here. And that's not a good thing.
Right. So we thought we'd look into it and just see in the first 24 days of January how many crimes related to sexual abuse there have been, because you see these come through in the feed quite a bit in the Facebook group. It feels like a lot.
Yes.
So first 24 days, does anybody have want to hazard a guess as to maybe how many there might be?
Yeah, go ahead and guess. Anybody guess?
Take a guess. We'll just kind of give it a second here and just like...
There you go. Think, people. How many do you think have been up there?
2? Is it 2? Is it 5?
I think I would like what's behind door number 7.
All right. Well.
Oh wait, no. This is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it.
Could I? I need a lifeline.
Yeah. Right. All right. So hold on to your guess for a second here, because we're now going to go through it and tell you exactly how many people have been through the Lane County Jail in the last 24 days related to sex crimes. So
it's a little more complicated than you think.
So, and that's why the show is so cool, is because we can kind of take these things and discuss them a little bit more in depth. So,
yes.
a lot of the stuff that you see comes through, and it's what's called failure to report. So, these are people that have, for whatever reason or another, so they're not alleged sex offenders because they've already been.
These are sex offenders,
right?
And they're not guilty until proven in a court of law. They are already guilty. They are literally convicted, and now they have not reported, checked in as a sex offender, and there is no court for that offense. It's a violation. They are immediately, that's why they're arrested.
Yeah. So you see these come through in the mugshots now and then, and it may appear as if this is somebody who has just recently and newly offended. That's not the case. These are people that are coming through, and they're being picked up usually for other reasons. So something's happened, and they've done some other crime, and then they get oh, by the way, you didn't register. So
yeah, we just ran you in the computer, and look, you forgot to.
Right. So we got this guy here, and then this guy here, and then this guy here.
Oh, there's more. These are just this year, just January.
And so this gal here, and then this guy here. This guy here, and this guy here. Oh, and this guy here, and this guy here, and this guy here.
Wow.
And this guy here. So what do we got? 9 people. Just in the month so far that have just failed to report. So that's why you may say, well, there's a lot of sex offenders and stuff. The true and accurate picture is that, yes, some of them have just been picked up because of this reason alone. But then we get into these guys. Right.
These guys,
yeah. And quite an interesting bunch that we have here. They got the red hair going on in a couple of these. One guy's smiling for his photo.
Yeah, he seems pretty happy about the whole thing. That's disgusting.
Yeah. These are the actual new crimes committed, alleged
sex abuse and sex offenders. They have not been to court yet.
First 24 days of February.
Yes.
So, that's so all told, 15 people that have been through the jail or still in jail for one reason or another. So,
one reason or another.
Yeah, that's kind of
whether they're convicted or not.
Right. So, moving. So that was the answer. 15.
15. There you go.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and get into a topic that we said that we would cover when we posted first about the episode, and this is related to an officer-involved shooting that happened. Now we're going to go back a little bit in time again, as we tend to do, because some of these things happen, and then you learn about them over time. So what we have is basically, you want to describe the incident, Mike?
Well, this incident started out as a domestic violence call. A woman from in a residence had called 911. 911 came. EPD was dispatched, and when they showed up, they encountered a man coming at them with a knife in an alley.
Okay. And this one has actually garnered quite a bit of attention.
It has.
Essentially, I think that some people are saying that maybe the excessive force may have been used, or that something didn't deserve to be. I'm not sure what. Tell us a little bit about that controversy, if you. I
can tell you a lot of what's being said. A lot of people are saying they should have, re-upped their weaponry as he was running at them, grabbed a less lethal weapon, and used that against him. I think you're going to see here in a second, the video, there's no time for this. I mean, these people are literally retreating to get away from him. And how are they to know what to do? And here's the other thing. I mean, there were a number of shots fired, and he was only hit twice. And the other thing is tasers. Everybody should have been tased.
Right.
Should have been tased. These things are like 60% effective, and that's within a 15-foot range. They don't go any farther. You're shooting out these barbs and wires. So you've only got so much. It isn't like a bullet where you just get to send it off on its merry way. This is still literally connected to the taser, which looks a lot like a gun. Now, if this guy's moving and he only gets hit with one of the barbs, nothing happens. This is electrical current. Just like in your home, if only one wire to your lamp's hooked up, you get nothing. So it's just like that. If these barbs don't stick, then again, I mean, they're also saying 60% effective. That means that people that are being tased will still run at you. People that are being shot with rubber bullets will still run at you. Heck, over a year ago, we had a guy in the Best Buy parking lot run at police with a big pipe in his hand, and they shot him in the chest, and he just kept coming. He was shot in the chest with a bullet.
And kept going.
And he kept coming.
It's probably adrenaline-based. Right?
He had to go past like 4 or 5 cars before he finally collapsed. But we're going to see the tape here. This was very controversial. When it first happened, we didn't get to see the tapes, and everybody was crying racial injustice because the man's black.
Okay.
Everybody's saying, EPD just shoots people, and they need better training. And then, of course, like we covered, less lethal, should have been used. I mean, you show up at a scene where it's a domestic violence call, I don't think the first thing you're going to pull out is the beanbag gun. And these guys barely even got their weapons out in the first place. You got to see the video.
Right. I think that's probably, we'll just go right to it and then we'll discuss. Do you want to narrate, Mike, as this goes? Or
I can kind of narrate it as we go.
All right.
It's really quick. There's not hardly anything to it.
Okay.
Here we have the first officer.
Stop, man! Stop! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! I'll shoot you! Drop the knife!
Now the officer is backing up.
He's coming at me! Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
And there's Ray Lance right in front of the second vehicle. And all this happens in just a matter of seconds.
Drop the knife, man! Drop the knife!
He's still not dropping the knife. In his defense, I feel as though part of that's he was shot in the shoulder, so he may not have been able to actually release the knife.
Okay, we'll give him.
I would give him that. I don't know.
Let go of the knife. Let go of the knife, man. We want to get you aid. We want to render aid to you.
Now they've just deployed a taser.
And now he drops.
And the knife finally falls out of his hand.
All right, so now we're going to get another view.
Yeah, there's Officer Rankin's in-car video. Here, they're just pulling up to a domestic violence call. They don't know what they're going to find. They have no idea. This is the second vehicle in. You can see they're running. What? Yeah, and how many seconds did they have? I mean, this happens so quick.
Yeah, that does happen very, very quickly. So, I don't know, man. I mean, that's definitely one of those things where, not being a trained officer, I really can't speak for what the expectation is, what somebody handled that situation. I can imagine what that would be like for me.
Sure.
And having to make that kind of a judgment call very, very quickly. I don't know.
Well, there's been a big study. It's called the 21-foot rule. If you are 21 feet from a man with a knife, chances are he can stab you. And everybody's like, well, they're wearing bulletproof vests. Well, if you listen to what I just said, it's a bulletproof. Knives will go right through these. Plus, your whole neck area isn't covered. Your arms aren't covered. Bulletproof vest. Sides are opened. There's a lot that can happen. And I mean, you've got to get your brain. This guy's running at you with a knife. When he's within 21 feet of you, you have to engage your brain to figure out what you want to do and then do it. This guy's already running at you. It's a dangerous situation for the police. Everybody's like, well, that was a knife. They shouldn't have shot him. I'm like, knives are pretty deadly.
Yeah, I would say that's just as much of a threat as anything else. So,
it's a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, and look where he ended up. Past the first car. The officer in the first car backs up. He retreats. He doesn't just fire at him. He retreats. He's getting out of the way. He's like, we're backing up. Maybe he'll stop. They shoot him. He lands in front of the second vehicle.
Right.
While this is going on, actually while it's going on, two more police pull up behind them, but they were not involved in this. This was already happening while they were pulling up.
So what is the outcome of the case? This individual is now in Lane County Jail, or
he is still in Lane County Jail as we speak. He has a number of charges. Some of them are from the alleged domestic violence issue that this call was based on in the first place. And some of them are about, illegal use of a weapon and whatnot. And like I said, he's still in there. He has not been bailed out. He may not have been given bail.
Well, is there anything else that EPD is looking for in relation to this case, or they pretty much have this one as far as their details wrapped up?
They probably have this one pretty wrapped up, but once again, I mean, if you've got some information you feel is important on any case, that hasn't been closed, and this one in particular has not been closed yet, give them a call. It's always better to call them up and tell them something they already know than it is to, sit on something that might be important.
All right. Well, moving on, Mike, we got another arrest related to the riots back.
Another riot arrest.
So I don't know that I would be able to do justice to this name. Matthias Johnson.
Mr. Johnson. Yeah, so, I mean, it's nothing to do against him or his charges. I can't pronounce his first name.
Right. That is not our strength here at Lane County Mugshots.
No. Mr. Johnson was arrested the other day.
Right. So basically with charges related to assault, disorderly conduct, riot, burglary, theft. I would say that there's been a number of arrests related to this. They just took a lot of time to come around.
They have been.
Just taken, there's a lot of evidence that was being looked at as far as video footage, cell phone footage.
There is. They had hours and hours of videos to go through and look at, and then some of these videos are pretty sketchy looking. So,
I guess So I think somebody's saying that my voice is being picked up by your mic. So, that might be part of the problem. I don't know. Somebody
bouncing around.
I like how we get tech tips from our folks here.
Yeah,
to help out too. So anyway, the point being that related to these arrests is that they do take time. People may wonder why folks are just allowed to get away with stuff like that. Well, they're not. They eventually, when the police are able to, bring him to justice. So. All right, moving along, Mike.
What do we got next?
I just bring up Lost and Found again.
Lost and Found.
It's always important to know that there is another group out there besides Lane County Mugshots Uncensored. There's Lane County Mugshots Lost and Found.
It's pretty easy to figure out what the group's for. It's pretty easy.
Right. This is not where the lost people go, but it's where the lost stuff goes and where the dogs and cats and stuff like that. So I got this slide out of order here. We can go ahead and talk about this fellow right now. What do you know, Mike, with relation to Jacob Idris?
He's been missing since his birthday in 2017, and it's a completely unsolved case. No one has seen him. The reason we bring this up is, what are we looking at? About a week and a half ago, Lane County Sheriff's Department search and rescue.
So we had some audio issues again related. I believe it's because I took us out of the stream. So that's my fault, folks.
It happens.
Yeah, so I just won't do that again. So.
We're brand new. I don't have a PhD in this, or anything. But.
Yeah. Okay. Well, missing dog in Cottage Grove. All right.
Cute dog.
So, Mike, that's going to take us probably to the end of our podcast today. And normally we would do a longer podcast, but because of some of the technical difficulties, we've been, our first episode actually went off without a hitch. It was actually a pretty good one. But,
it went great.
We've had some other issues that have made this one. We're just going to have to cut it short. So,
yeah. Do we want to mention any of the questions that people had posted?
I would be happy
quickly?
to. Yeah. There have been a few actually that I thought were pretty decent questions.
Yeah, somebody mentions that I should bring up, people don't, I don't know, they don't follow the threads real well, and they have misconceptions about what certain charges are. Also, a big thing that's been going on lately in the group is people thinking that sex offenders are beaten and murdered in jail. There hasn't been a prison murder since some riots we had decades ago. But yeah, somebody wanted to mention that I need to mention to remind people. It seems a little overdoing it. But someone also said, what's up with the rash of stolen cars lately? Cars, utility trailers, trucks, campers, and work vehicles. Seems like it's getting worse every day.
Does it seem like it's getting worse, or is it just that we see more of it posted or something?
It could be. I mean, thanks to the internet, thanks to Lane County Mugshots, I mean, if it gets stolen, probably you're going to hear about it.
It does seem to be a daily occurrence, just about.
It does. Every day somebody wants to put a post in the group saying, my car was stolen. I woke up this morning, my Honda's gone. I woke up this morning, somebody stole a propane utility truck the other day.
Yeah, I think I saw that may have been recovered. I think I actually saw it
they did.
over there the other day. So.
Missing tools, missing the crane, but they got the vehicle back.
All right.
Somebody says, and this is something that I've actually seen happen, and it is frustrating. Jessica writes, what's the point of crosswalks on Highway 99 if people just walk out from wherever they happen to be? Jessica says, I had a woman walk out in front of me, probably only 40, 45 yards from the crosswalk. Seemed like a lot of money and hassle for nothing. I noticed this the other day. That crosswalk is over by the St. Vincent de Paul service center there.
Oh, they were on River Road area?
No, on 99.
99. Oh,
99
yes, 99.
Four
Sorry,
Corners,
yeah.
And I go through the crosswalk, and there's some woman walking down the road, and she just decides to just steps in front of me, and it's like, whoa.
What's the point of the crosswalk if you're just going to do that? Yeah.
She was literally probably 15 feet from using the crosswalk, and this thing, you hit a button, lights flash, everybody is required by law to stop, and they put this in with great cost to, the city or to ODOT. I'm not sure who owns that portion of the road there, who would pay for it, probably City of Eugene.
So I guess that you would have to say that it's just a point of laziness, really, that this person didn't go down and use the protected walk.
Yeah, I mean, what they say. I mean, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Right. So, I mean, there they go. They put this up, and people are still just crossing wherever they want to. The most safe place to do that now has been constructed, and legally they have to stop.
Yeah. I guess I understand in a way how sometimes people might think that, nobody's coming, I can go ahead and cross here. It won't be a problem. And it's not a problem until it is, right? So,
it happens.
And that car that you didn't know was coming just comes swerving, or swinging around the corner or whatever. So
it's a pretty straight stretch there. It just seems... Let's see what else we got going on here.
Yeah, I wish we could take the calls today, man.
Yeah. Or you could have called, but for some reason it won't allow us to answer it. Isn't that ironic? Yeah. You can call all you want. People speaking about the homeless camps and the garbage. I think that's been highlighted by KZI, KVAL. It's irritating people, but what do we do with these people in these camps? There's something that is going on. I know of 2 Conestoga camps being put up now.
That's cool.
Those are just 2. They're doing many other ones. There's one on 99 just north of Barger, and there's another one off Bertelsen at 7th.
I do know that one of the things that a lot of cities will struggle with is that when you tell somebody that they have to leave their space and can't camp there anymore, you have to be able to provide them a place to go. So at least I would believe that that's the legal interpretation of it was the 9th District Court, that particular case that a couple years ago now. So it's not just as easy as just kicking people off.
It is.
That I know. And I'm not.
You got to move them someplace. You can't just throw them out. We've got a few more questions here. One of them has to do with Tacoma. This is Lane County Mugshots. We're not going to get into that. It's a pretty deep subject. But thanks for trying.
Yeah, sorry.
We have Lisa says the fentanyl in our backyard. She goes, I know myself and 3 other ladies who have lost their sons and daughters in 2020. Never reported on or mentioned on the news. I believe the news had mentioned. Even the police department has said, you need to be careful. We've got fentanyl showing up in some of the drugs that we're, taking off of criminals.
Yeah. It's not something that you hear as much about because I don't think that it shows up in our listings of, possession of. It's like a controlled substance is really about all it's going to say, I think.
Well, and they're not going to break down the chemical composition of your methamphetamine for your charge. It's going to say meth. And if that meth had fentanyl, it's not going to show up in a charge separately. But it is a problem. I mean, the police are discussing it. They're telling us.
I will admit that I don't know as much about this as I probably should. I did do a little bit of looking into this before the show just because it was just curious to me as to what the differences between the different drugs. And I think one of the main things that come through is that it takes a very, very little amount of fentanyl
to kill you.
To kill you, yes, to overdose, compared to other drugs. So,
Yeah, like the amount of a pinhead or something.
right,
It's
yeah.
just a dumb.
absolutely very concerning.
Micro spot of
yeah,
it.
so that's the danger, and I think that those that may not know what they're getting or may not have experience with the use of, it's very easy to overdose on it. So maybe we'll cover that one in another show in full detail, and especially if we get our call lines going, because I'd love to hear from some of these folks.
I've got one more here that we're going to mention. Ricky, who must live in the River Road, Maxwell Road area of Santa Clara, writes, the gangs of teenagers who smashed a bunch of heavy gauge glass bottles on Maxwell Road, and one of them pulled a knife on an old lady who came out to check on the noise. Several car tires exploded. He says, us in the neighborhood cleaned up the mess. Never saw any law enforcement. I asked Ricky, I said, did anyone call the police? Was a report made? He said, I don't know. We were cleaning up the glass, first priority to avoid accidents. The kids wandered off towards Emerald Park. I think we've got a lot of problems with this going on. A lot of kids are home and they've got no school anymore.
And they're bored, yeah.
And they're bored. And people are tired of being in their homes. Not to try to get into the pandemic, but we do have a social situation going on that's some of the cause of what's happening. But I would say to Ricky or anyone else in the Maxwell Road area or Emerald Park area, if there are problems, immediately call the police. Tell them. Broken glass in the road can be a huge traffic problem. It can be dangerous. Other people can step on it, fall into it. It's definitely worth calling them first. I understand, and that's great that Ricky and the neighbors cleaned this up, and there's nothing wrong with that. But call the police. At the very least, it puts it on their crime map to see where certain crimes are being committed or called in from, and that does change where they do their patrols.
Sure, yeah, it affects that because everything that they do is data led. So
yeah, but I think we're caught up with most of the questions that were relevant.
Yeah, we'll come back. There was one other one, and I will cover in a second. But I feel kind of bad. Somebody mentioned in the comments that they completely missed the part about the missing person, Jacob. Because that was my fault with the audio there. So I'd like to go back just for a second and just highlight again.
Sure, yeah. So let's go ahead and put that back up on the screen.
Got it, yeah.
There it is. It's Jacob Idris. He's been missing since, I can't really read it from here, but November of 2017.
Right.
It was his birthday that day. He had spoken to some people on the phone. He was out riding his bike, last it was known. I believe the last known sighting was Walgreens on River Road. What we have up on the screen, that's a Lane County Sheriff's missing poster. And once again, like I had said, the reason that we brought Jacob up again, it isn't because he is special, but what happened was in the past 2 weeks, Lane County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue was looking in a field. Nobody knows what they were looking for, but they were out there looking, and some people speculated, I wonder if it's a body. I wonder if they're looking for someone who's been missing.
Oh, I see.
And
so that's how it gets brought up again. Yeah.
And since Prairie Road, towards Junction, that's close to the area where Jacob was last seen. Some people said, I wonder if it's Jacob. And so I promised people that we would mention this again.
Sure.
Since it came up due to that search and rescue. And once again, nobody knows what they were looking for. It may have not been a body. Nobody has any idea. They had drones. They were out there with shovels and picks. I can tell you from my experience with watching a lot of this happen that I highly doubt that they found a body because there was no coroner, no forensic unit out there. Because once you do find human remains, then it's not a search and rescue party anymore. Then all the professionals that your CSI people need to come in and start going over it. So search and rescue is just
then it becomes an actual crime scene or something.
It's a scene, yeah. Then search and rescue backs off because their job is just to look.
Yeah.
So
look, find, and then
So that much I can pretty much assure people. Just how I know the mechanics of how things work.
Yeah, so sorry about that audio issue earlier. We'll get our act together here in the future. But I'm glad that we were...
Kevin, one other thing that we said we were adding is what is in Mike's hand? What is Mike drinking?
Oh, yeah, well, we can certainly...
Do we have some special bubbly music?
No, I don't have any music for that. But...
Well,
just...
what I'm drinking is a prismatic juicy ale made by Ninkasi Brewing Company of Eugene, Oregon. Our last podcast, somebody had asked on there, what are you drinking?
It's, what inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know. Yes, so, I've been nursing a prismatic juicy IPA for over an hour now. So, yes, I'm hardcore at
That's
this.
the good stuff, the prismatic.
What do you got? What's in Kevin's hand today?
Today, I'm drinking a cherry bubbly for viewers that care. Just trying to... drink more water, be healthier. I might drink the beer a little bit later. So.
Yeah, I love the bubblies. Like I think I said last time, grapefruit. That's
I got
my
you
favorite.
some, man. There's some in the fridge. You betcha, yeah.
Well, these are good too. But hey, I think we're pretty much done, and we'll.
There was one other question I thought real quick.
Sure.
Maybe a couple minutes.
Our producers are telling us we have a commercial break. No, I'm just kidding.
Our producers.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
They're gonna have to kick their butts later on, those producers. Yeah.
You and me in a hidden garage.
They've been sacked.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone wanted to know, how did the beginnings of Mugshots, like what got you started with Mugshots?
How did we get into this? Well, Kevin, you and I, another friend of ours, started a online paper. We started a non-biased paper to try to cover news and events and things that happen in Lane County. We called it Lane Today. It was fairly successful. During that time, we were trying to expand what we put on there. And we thought a little bit of reality might be to post a mugshot or two. And we found, because
I believe we noticed that like other places would post mugshots.
Would highlight a
some
mugshot.
Of the more prominent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we put those on there, and we found it was... a lot of people really wanted to see them, and so then we started actually making separate articles just for mugshots. We post them the same way we do today. I mean, different format, but unbiased. I mean, we're not asking you like arrest.org, hey, is this one tattooed, check off little boxes. We're literally giving you the information, and that's it. There's nothing. There's no fun thing to check off on these, but we did that, and then at some point we decided to dissolve the paper, and I took the mugshots at that point for just a few months and just did them by hand. Literally still have in my bookshelf are notebooks written in Sharpie, names and charges and what the code for the picture was.
Transposed all of those by hand. Yeah.
By hand off the computer. I wasn't scraping. I was writing it down and then typing it out into WordPress.
And I think that was even some of the other fellow that worked with us on would do a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
And so the automation and actually posting things automatically didn't happen until several years later. So
till you and I started doing this together again, and you've got that great talent of being able to automate things.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but what we do know is that if we had to do them by hand now, we wouldn't ever, because I think the number of people that come through the jail has really risen significantly over the years. So.
And the other thing was I did these every night just after 12 midnight to make sure that I caught. I would just do how many were left in the jail for that day. I couldn't even, this was still back when they would keep them on there if they'd been released. So I would run them all through at 12 midnight, put them on WordPress, and then in the morning post those as, here's yesterday's mugshots, because we can't post every mugshot from the day till the day's over.
Right.
But yeah, it just, people really liked this and paid a lot of attention to it. In the beginning, I got quite a bit of emails, people saying thank you. I recognized somebody that's been in our store. I was able to give the information to EPD, and I said, this is the person that stole things. People renting rooms or houses, which are really suggested by law not to use mugshots for, but they would be like, yeah, thank you so much. I looked through your mugshots, and we decided not to rent our room to somebody. And I would mention that is not something you should do with mugshots because you do not know if they were convicted. There is nothing there to. It's if you're doing that as a landlord and you get caught, it is illegal.
It is illegal. That could be a problem.
Highly illegal.
Yeah.
Somebody your house.
We've heard from other various professions out there. Can't even begin to name them all, but some legal, some probably not. Where the mugshots have been used as vetting for different things. So yeah, it is kind of interesting in how that's evolved over time.
It has, and people who are victims of crimes have gone through our mugshots to see if they could recognize somebody. People have been identified that way from other crimes. So, I mean, it's a public service. You need to know what's going on in your neighborhood.
Well, we could probably dig into that one a lot more because we have all kinds of history going back about 10 years of basically how we met and got involved, starting with the whole Beltline boondoggle on through many other things. But
all our political thing. People wonder why we hate politics so much on our group.
No politics in the group. We say none of your vomit here.
We have already played the political game earlier.
We've been there, done that. Bought the shirt. So
yeah, I've got the shirt. I'm done.
Yeah. Now, thinking of some of I wanted to mention the shirts actually. So
there's a good thing. Yeah. Okay, we're not done yet.
Well, now we have to keep this program running somehow.
Yeah.
So, how do we do that? Well,
people are still listening, waiting for whatever good thing we're going to say. It'll happen.
Not all folks.
Yeah. We're not done yet. Yeah. Grab another beer. Come right back.
LakeCountyMugshots.com. This is where you can go and get all of the information, not just about mugshots, but CAD calls, police calls, road cameras, any of those things. But you can also check out our shirts, hats, hoodies, and mugs.
We have swag.
We don't get rich off of any of this stuff. Between that and the advertising that you see on our site, it basically pays our bills. And maybe buys a prismatic beer and a bubbly now and then.
Yeah, I think I gave away. I took a bunch of the mugs, and I don't think I sold one mug to anyone. I just gave them away. People were like, "Oh, do you have those mugs?" I was like, "Here you go."
Yeah, well, we had a lot of fun with those in the beginning, but
they were nice.
Can't give them all away, man.
We can't.
You have to actually buy some.
The promotion has exceeded its limit, and we're done.
So that's it for tonight's show. Took us to about the point where we needed to be, so I think that's good. We'll come back next week even stronger with a little more technical prowess to make sure that
we need to fix your speaker. It's still cutting a bit. I don't know. I had the same problem last season.
Yeah, you try and these demons keep
there you go.
up,
See.
So.
Yeah, right. I've got mine like right next to my face.
Meanwhile, again, tell a friend, and we'll just catch you on the flip side here.
Yeah,
in
we'll
2
put
more weeks.
We'll put a URL out. You can rewatch this anytime you want.
Thanks for joining us, and Mike, as always.
Hey, spay and neuter your grandparents. Wait, that isn't that. You stay safe. Spay and neuter your pets. I love the music at the end. It's just like, just let it play during the whole show.